welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are introducing our new interactive die, Double Slider Surprise. I am so excited about this die, so let's go ahead and check it out. So this is what that awesome die does. It creates this really cool interactive moving double slider. So we're going to be talking about 3 different ways to use this today. One for this really cool scene extension. Here we're going to be using it with the stopper, which is really awesome. And then last but not least, we're going to be using it as a way to present a gift card, which is so cool. So let's check out this die and see how to put it together. So these are all the die pieces that the set comes with. This is our main pocket piece. This is the track piece. This is our panel piece. And then we have a notch piece that works with that main pocket piece. So that's the notch right there. We also have the stopper that we're going to learn how to use today, a super cute little banner that's perfect for adding your sentiment, and then a bunch of different ways to create your slider mechanism pull tabs. They're just a bunch of different styles depending on what you're trying to create for your card. The first step for the double slider is to cut a track piece, and then we're also going to cut 2 pocket pieces. The die has created a score line for us there, and we're going to fold along that score line, creating this nice skinny little tab piece. I'm also going to use my bone folder just to crease that really well so it has a nice sharp edge. And then I'll repeat that with the second piece. So I'm just going to fold along that score line, and then once again crease it so that it has a nice sharp edge. Now, one of the tricks for creating these is using 1/8 inch tape. So this is some score tape. It's really nice strong tape. Any strong tape that you have is perfect for this. And you'll see that we're going to use that little 1/8 inch strip there onto those skinny tabs. And we're going to do that on both of the pocket pieces. We're also going to add some of that 1/8 inch score tape to the track. And so we're going to be adding it along the very top and the very bottom of the track. And you'll see that I'm going to that very top edge, and then I'll be going down to that very bottom edge as well. Then we're going to flip over our track piece and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to add that tape to the very top part of the track and the very bottom part of the track once again. So next we have to work with the secret ingredient for the card, and that's what makes this slider move, and it's a plastic bag. So this should be something that you have at home, just like some extra stamp or die packaging, maybe a plastic grocery bag, or maybe even dog poop bags. I know it's really funny, but they work really well, and I always have these around because I've always got my pups, Daphne and Mo, with me. So I really like the little poop bags too because they roll up in a nice little roll, and I can just put them in my craft desk. So I've just got them there in my little drawer. So I'm just going to peel off one of these bags, and we're going to cut this down to work in our slider. So I'm just going to trim off the bottom seam of this, right, just like that. And then we're going to unfold the whole bag, and the bag is going to have a seam there on the left-hand side that we're also going to need to trim off. Now that we've trimmed off that seam, we can work on the width of this bag. So it needs to be about 2¼ inches. That seems to be the perfect width to make this whole thing work really well. So I'm going to trim that down to 2¼ inches. And then you'll see there, just from that one trim there, I've got 2 bags because we've got the front and the back of the bag in there. So I can already make 2 double sliders. Next, we're going to take that same 1/8 inch strong tape, and I'm just going to put a piece at the very end of the bag, just like that. Then we're going to take this bag and we're going to wrap it around that track piece that we put adhesive on earlier. So you'll see I'm just going to wrap it just like that. And we're going to be taking this whole bag and wrapping it around the entire track. Now you'll see there you don't want it too tight and you don't want it too loose. So what I like to do is I'm going to peel up the liner paper there on that tape, and I'm just going to take that bag and just kind of let it guide me. So I'm kind of pulling it along the edge and just letting it fall right down onto that tape. And then I'm going to push down. I'll just trim off any excess that I might have, and now I'm going to have my slider track piece moving. I like to take the whole bag and just kind of slide it back and forth, really get it moving on there so that it's ready to work with all my panel pieces. So you'll see there that we've created a seam on this bag. You want that seam to be on your left-hand side because that seam is going to move to the right, just like that, as the card moves. So you're going to take that seam you created, that's where you put your adhesive earlier, and we're just going to put that on the left-hand side, maybe just like 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch from the left-hand side. And then we're going to put some more tape right along that seam. Then you're going to take your track and you're going to flip it over, and we're going to put tape on the right-hand side this time. So it's going to be on the opposite side. So there, we're going to do that, and then just take that tape and line it right there, right onto our bag. So when this is all done, you'll see that you'll be able to feel tape there on your right hand and on your left hand. So on the front, it's on the left, and on the back, it's on the right. So here we have two panel pieces. Now these normally you would decorate for your card, and we're going to be doing that in just a little bit. But I thought this would be a nice and easy way to demonstrate how to put these panel pieces on. So we're going to write front and back on these. So we're going to add our first panel on. So we're going to peel off that liner tape, and we're going to take that. We're going to have the front showing up, and we're going to line it up right with the outside edge of that track. So I'm just going to put my piece down, lined up with that outside edge, and then I can just press it down right onto the tape. Now it's time to work with our other panel piece. So we're going to flip over our track, and we're also going to flip over our panel. And that's because if not, the back of the panel is going to show when you pull. So we're going to take that one, and we want the back to be showing since we're looking at the back of the track. So that's why I always tell myself the back of the card is on the back of the track. So we're going to line that up with that left-hand edge right at the edge of the track. And once again, just push down, letting that tape pick up our piece. Now you'll see as we pull, now both fronts are showing on the front. And we'll be practicing this a bunch more times in the video as we make our cards. So here we have that notch piece. And so the notch piece is really easy to use because all you have to do is take that little metal bar and line it up with the edge of your panel. That's it. Super quick and easy. And then what you can do is just use some low tack tape to hold it in place. We'll run it through our die cut machine, and now we have a notch. For these cards, you can either put the notch on one side or on both sides. So we're going to be putting the notch on both sides for this example, but later on in the video, we'll be doing one with a notch on just one side, and that's kind of the surprise element. So we'll look at that soon. So you'll see here that I've now created two notches, top and bottom, and I'm going to repeat the same thing on my other pocket piece. So now I have two pocket pieces that look exactly the same. Now I want to create one big piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel up the liner tape on one of those little tabs, and then I'm just going to kind of butt the two pieces up against each other and then push that tab down to create one long pocket piece. Now we're going to take that track piece that we worked on earlier, and we're going to be putting that inside of the pocket. So what I like to do is just kind of extend the pieces out a little bit, just like that. I just kind of slide it just a bit, just because I feel like there's more for me to hold on to. I make sure that those are really lined up nice in the center. I'm going to go to the back of my slider piece, and we're going to peel up that liner tape on both the top and the bottom. Then we're going to take that piece and we're going to kind of fit it right into that little tab piece, just like that. I just kind of butt it right into that fold and then push it down into the pocket. We're then going to peel up the liner tape on the bottom one, and we're going to fold that tab over. And then we're going to peel up the liner paper on the tape on both the top and the bottom. And then we can go ahead and close our pocket, creating our double slider mechanism. And how cool is that? Look at that. It's just so much fun. So let's go ahead and actually decorate one of these and make one. First, I'm going to do some inking to create a sky, and I'm using Merman ink and Minty Fresh, which are my two favorite colors for a sky. And so I'm going to be inking one pocket piece and two panel pieces so that I can start to create my really fun scene. Now that I have my sky, I need some grass, and I thought it would be really fun to have some glitter grass. So I'm going to die cut both my pocket and panel piece from some of this sparkle cardstock, and then I'll use a grassy border die to cut some grass for both the main pocket piece and the two panels as well. And I'm just going to line those up so that the grass is the same height on the pocket as it is on the panels. And then I can go ahead and layer those grass on top of those pocket pieces. I wanted to create a party on this card, so I took out some of my favorite critter sets. I've got Elphie, Selfie, Party Animal, Wild for You, Lovable Legends. You could take out any of your favorite sets and just layer a bunch of critters onto these panels. So you'll see that I put adhesive all over the back of them, and I'm just layering them on top of the grass. I'm also giving them some balloons, and I thought it would be fun to do the balloons in rainbow order, so you'll see there that they'll kind of extend across the whole thing. There I'm going to add another cute little elephant, a little gator, and then that little Yeti from Lovable Legends in there just cracks me up, like he's hanging out with, his little elephant and crocodile friends. So here I'm going to finish off the rainbow with my balloons, and now it's time to work on our track. So we're going to be creating this track just like we did in the example at the beginning. So we're going to put adhesive on the top and the bottom and flip it over and do the same on the other side. So we've got our nice strong adhesive all the way on the top and all the way on the bottom. We have our plastic bag that's been cut to 2¼ inches. I've added a little tape there to one side of the bag, and we're going to wrap it around our track, peel up that liner paper, and then just take that bag and put it over and just kind of lay it flat so that it attaches right to that adhesive. Once those are attached, we can trim off any excess that we might have. I always like to make sure that my slider track there is moving really well, and then I'm going to take that seam and move it over to the left-hand side and add some adhesive right over that seam. Then I'm going to take my track piece and flip it over and add adhesive to the right side, the opposite side. That way there's going to be adhesive on both the left and the right. So we got some on the left and then on the right, just like that. Now we can go ahead and actually add decorated panels to our slider track. So I'm going to lift up that liner tape, then I'm going to line up my panel piece once again with the outside edge of my track, and then I can push down, having it pick up that adhesive that's stuck to the plastic bag, and I already have one moving track piece. I'm going to flip the whole thing over. So we want to make sure that one's coming out that way, just like that. So we're going to flip the whole thing over. And because we're on the back of the track, we want to make sure that we see the back of our card. So in this case, it's the part that isn't decorated. So there's nothing on the back there. We're going to line that up with the left-hand side of the track. And then we can push down and have it pick up that adhesive. And now look how cool that is. Oh my gosh, I just love it. So now it's time to create our pocket piece. So we're going to be creating 2 notches on this one, just like we did at the beginning. So I'm going to take my notch piece, line that up with the edges, and create 2 pocket pieces that look exactly the same with notches on both the left and the right. Then I'll go ahead and fold down on that score line, crease it really well with my bone folder, and add some nice strong tape to both of those tabs. I'm going to peel up the liner paper on one of those tape pieces, and then we're going to attach these 2 pieces together, creating one long pocket piece. Then we can take that slider mechanism that we decorated and created earlier. I'm going to pull out the pieces just a little bit, just so I have a little bit more to grab onto. Then I'm going to flip it over to the back, and I'm going to peel up the liner paper on both the top and the bottom of that track. I can then fit that right into my pocket piece. I'm going to make sure my panels are lined up straight, and then I'm going to fit that right into that edge, just like that, and then I'm going to push down so that it's inside of my pocket piece. I'm going to pull up the liner tape on the bottom one, and then just fold my tab up, just like that, and then I can peel up the liner tape again on the top and the bottom, and close my entire pocket piece down. Then I'm going to go ahead and take that inked piece that we created earlier. That's going to be the front of my card. And so I need to cut notches out of both ends of that one as well, so it all lines up. In this case, I have an inked piece that I'm layering on top. You could also layer on top some pattern paper. All you need to do is just cut off that tab and then just glue that right on top, just like that. So pattern paper, colored cardstock, anything. I'm going to add that pocket piece grass that we cut at the beginning of this card, just layer that right on top. And then I'm going to take the banner die that comes in this set, and I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday from the Happy 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 set on there. I just curved the stamps a little bit to match with the curve of the banner. I attach that to the card, and then I'm going to add my little elephant and cake on there with some foam tape too. Once I had decorated it all, I just wanted to add one little yellow bird on the left to kind of match the one on the right. So I added that in there, and now it's time to create my card base. So it's going to be 4¼ by 6, and then we're going to score at 3. And that's going to create a card base that is the exact same size as the entire mechanism. So you'll see I have that right like that. I'm going to add a bunch of foam squares there to the back of my mechanism, and then I'll just layer my whole card base right on there. And now we just have the cutest interactive card. I love that it looks like there's a little elephant on top, but oh yeah, guess what? Everybody's here for your surprise party, right? So I just think it's so cute. It's so happy and fun. I love the whole interactive element of it, and I love that it creates this really cool scene extension. So you can have one simple scene, and then it can explode to a really awesome big scene. So next up, we're going to be working with the concept of using the stopper and also using this as a way to present a sentiment or even maybe a written message. And so here we've got our pocket pieces, and this time we're going to be cutting the notches from just one side. we're going to be creating a really cool sky here. So we're going to be using some shaded lilac, broken china, and faded jeans. And you'll see that I'm bringing on the colors just kind of overlapping each other and creating kind of this cool night sky that's got a little bit of the idea of kind of like a galaxy sky, but much softer. So you'll see there we've got some purple, some turquoise, some blue. It's looking really, really cool. I'm really liking it. And after I do one of the pocket pieces, I just need to do the top of one panel piece, and I'm going to color that in the same exact way. Now, what's a night sky without stars, right? So we're going to take some pearlized watercolor here, but some little white acrylic paint could work really well too. And I'm going to add a ton of water to it, making it really kind of soupy. I'm going to pick it up with my paintbrush and then tap my paintbrush to create splatters. And there you can see that whole scene is coming to life because now we've got stars in the sky. And this makes me so happy. I am loving doing this. I think everything is going to be splattered from now on. So here I'm going to stamp this super cute Santa. This is from the new Winter Skies set. So I'm going to stamp my little Santa on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the same stars. But this time I'm also going to add in a little kind of yellowy gold color as well, just to make Santa look even more special. And I am just loving how this is looking. So I'm going to take these two pieces and put them aside so that they can dry and start to work on my mechanism. So I've got my track piece. We're adding tape to the top and bottom, flipping it over, and then adding tape to the top and bottom again. Then we're going to take out our plastic bag that's cut to 2¼ inches wide. And this one's about 11 inches long. You can kind of eyeball the length because you're going to be trimming off any of the excess anyways. So there, right there, I'm going to go ahead and add some tape to one side of the bag. And then we'll take our trap piece and we're going to go ahead and wrap the whole plastic bag around that track. We can go ahead and peel that liner tape up, and then I'll take that bag and just wrap it right around the track and kind of let it fall and pick up the adhesive on that bag piece, and then I'll cut off any excess. I'm going to make sure my track is moving well, and then I'm going to move that seam to the left-hand side and add some tape right on top of that seam. Then I'm going to flip my track over and add some tape to the right-hand side. So there's going to be tape on the left on the front and on the right on the back, just like that. Now I need to decorate my other panel piece, so I'm going to stamp this really sweet sentiment, add 2 cute little hearts and just color them in with a little red marker. And then we're going to go ahead and add these panels on. So I'm going to line up my little panel piece with the right hand side edge of the track and attach that. We'll then flip it over. And we're going to take our Santa piece that we created earlier, and we're going to make sure we're looking at the back of that Santa piece. We're going to line it up with the left-hand side of the track right there, just like that. And then we can push down and let that adhesive pick up that panel piece, creating our sliding mechanism. Now it's time to create our pocket piece, and this is important here. You need to make sure that you have the notches on the same side when you attach them. So you'll see I've got the notches both there on the top, and I'm just going to attach my 2 pieces together just like that. Then we can go ahead and add our pieces inside. So I've got the panel slid out just a little bit. I'm going to flip it over and remove the liner tape on the top and bottom and just fit that right into my pocket piece. So right there into that fold, we're going to fit that just like that, and then we can push it right down into the pocket. So now it's time to work on that stopper. And the whole point of the stopper is that sometimes you don't want to have to decorate that whole panel. Like on the other one, we had all those critters. In this case, I just wanted there to be Santa and a sentiment. So what I'm going to do is pull out my 2 panels as far as I want them to look. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and see, okay, I just want Santa right at the top. I want my sentiment just showing at the bottom, just like that. Once I have them in the perfect placement, I'm going to peel off the liner tape on the top and the bottom of that track piece. Then this is my stopper piece. I'm going to flip up my panel and butt that right into where that panel attaches to the plastic bag, attaching that stopper piece to the top and the bottom. Then I can fold my little tab over, lift up the adhesive there, and then close my whole piece. What you've done there is created a stopping mechanism so that those panel pieces can't come out any further. So right there you'll see when you kind of pull on it, it's going to stop because we added that panel piece. So it's going to stop exactly where you want it, and you can decide how far out you want these panels to go or not. So now it's time to decorate the front. So I've cut a little panel piece out of some new sparkle pixie dust cardstock. I'm just going to trim off that tab piece, create a notch because the notch is going to line up with the notch on the card. And then I can go ahead and use my little stitch till side border here to cut a little hill for my critters to stand on. Then we can go ahead and start to layer all of our pieces. One of the things that I really love about this stopper card is that we've got the panels looking different. The top one really extends the sky and the bottom one extends the snow. So I think it's a really cool, nice contrasting look to have one that's one color and one that's another color. It's also a portrait style instead of landscape, so I love how many looks that you can get with this die. So right there is one of those stopper pieces. So I've die cut that from some chili pepper cardstock. I'm going to stamp a little arrow from the Push Here stamp set in some clear embossing ink and add some white embossing powder on there, and we'll just heat that up, and that's going to be a little direction to the recipient as to where they should pull. Now in this case, I didn't want the pull tab to be so long, so I'm just going to take my scissors and just cut off a little bit so that it's a little bit of a shorter pull tab since my sentiment was pretty close to the bottom of my panel piece. Once I've got that trimmed off, I'm going to take my tape runner and run some adhesive all the way along the inside of that pull tab piece. And then I'm going to layer that onto my card. So the little panel piece is sandwiched in between the two pieces of the pull tab. And now you've got that cute little arrow on there. Here I have some of the new white wood grain cardstock, and I am cutting that to be 5 by 3 3/4. So it's going to be a nice small little border around my card. And then I'm stamping in some moonstone ink some of the snowflakes that are in that winter sky stamp set just to add a little bit of decoration. And then we're going to do some more splatters just like we did before to just kind of tie in the whole thing together. Then we can go ahead and create a card base that we're going to layer that wood grain piece of paper on. And then we're going to add some foam tape to the back of our whole slider piece and add that to the card just like that. And I think this is just so cute. I love that it's a great way to do a sentiment. You can even have that instead of being the sentiment, that could be somewhere where you wrote your message, which could be pretty cool. And I love the stopper idea and how you can really customize how this double slider is going to look and really customize it for the scene that you want to create. One of my other favorite things about this die is that you can decorate it however you want. So we've done a birthday card, this is a Christmas card, and next up we're going to be doing a fall themed card. So any stamp set works with it, which is really, really awesome. Now with this one, what we're going to be doing is using this to be a way to present a gift card. For this card, we're using just one notch instead of doing the double notch, and that's because I want the element of surprise. So we had that in the Santa card where there wasn't a notch where Santa was, so when the person pulls it, they don't know that something's going to come out of the top. So we want that to be the case for this card because we want to present the gift card as the surprise element. So you'll see how we're going to do that. So we've added our tape just like we've been doing with all of our double sliders. We've got our little plastic bag there that we've got 2 1/4 inches wide. We've added some tape to. We're going to wrap it around the track and then attach that bag there to itself and trim off any excess. We'll take that seam and move it over to the left-hand side and add some tape right along that seam. Flip it over and add some tape on the right-hand side. We're going to create our pocket now. So we've got our 2 pieces with the 2 notches on there. We're going to make sure that the notches are both at the bottom so that they line up. We'll pull off that liner tape and attach the 2 pieces together to create one long piece. Now it's time to work on our panel pieces. I thought it would be really fun to use some pattern paper. So here I have some Nitpicky Fall paper, and I'm going to use that really pretty pink argyle. And so I'm going to cut 2 panel pieces of that. Now a tip here is that pattern paper is a bit thin for these little panel pieces. So I'm also going to die cut 2 out of just some normal 80-pound white cardstock, and I'm going to layer those pieces together. That's going to make these panel pieces really sturdy and make them slide really, really well. So if you want to do one out of pattern paper, make sure to layer some cardstock on there. Also, if you're going to create your pocket out of pattern paper, you should definitely do it like we did the first card where we created the pocket out of white cardstock and then we layered our little decorated piece on top. So here I'm going to take my panel piece, line it up with the right-hand side of the track, and then attach it to that adhesive there. So that's going to be moving. And then we'll go ahead and flip it over. We're going to take our piece, flip it over. Since we're looking at the back of the track, we're going to look at the back of the panel piece, line that up with the left-hand side, and then now we've got 2 panel pieces moving really well. I've removed the liner paper from the back of the whole track piece, and we're going to put that into our pocket. So we're going to fit that right into that little fold there, just like that. And then we can push down, attaching it into the pocket. We can then remove the liner tape along the bottom piece and fold our tab in. and then remove the liner tape on the top and the bottom there, and close our pocket piece so that everything is all put together and we have an awesome working double slider surprise mechanism. Now I've taken out a bunch of my favorite fall theme sets. So we have the new Thanks a Latte, Pick of the Patch, Happy Harvest, and Thanks a Bushel. Went ahead and colored and die cut a bunch of pieces. And then we're going to go ahead and cut down some sunflower cardstock to be kind of a cool little decorative piece on our pocket. So I'm using a stitch scallop border here to cut both sides of this. And then we're going to be layering on some pattern paper. So we have some more of that pink argyle and also a brown knit from the same collection. I went ahead and trimmed all of these pieces down so that we can layer them onto that yellow piece. So we've got the little pink peeking out and then the brown knit over top. And then we can take this entire panel and add it onto our white pocket just to decorate it a little bit. And then I can start to add my stamped images. Today, this is a card by Kay that we're recreating, so thank you so much, Kay, and thank you so much, Shari, for the Winter Skies card we did earlier, too. We just love them so much. Thank you for letting us recreate them in the video. So here I'm taking out an old favorite, which is Flirty Frames, and I'm going to stamp the Love You a Latte in there, and it's such a cute way to present a sentiment. So I'm going to just glue that right onto the panel and then decorate with some more sunflowers and fall leaves so it really coordinates with the main image of the set. And now it's time to add the gift card to the top part. So all you need to do is take a gift card. We found one at Starbucks that kind of went along with the whole coffee theme and kind of matched the card. And so you can go to Target or wherever you're going to do a gift card from, find the one that matches. And I'm going to take a couple of glue dots there. I just put 3 of them on there. And then I'm going to attach it to that panel piece. I'm just going to tuck it inside and glue that right on there. Those glue dots will come right off so that the recipient will be able to remove the gift card. And now you can see that that gift card is going inside there. So the first time you do it, you kind of have to play with it and push it in, and then it's going to move really, really well. And I've taken another one of the panel pieces there, die cut it from some white cardstock, and I've stamped the pull here from the push here stamp set. I'm going to add a bunch of adhesive to the inside, and then once again attach that to the piece. So then you can see as you pull, we're going to have our gift card come out the top, which is just so cool and such an awesome surprise because the recipient is not going to know that something's going to be popping out of the top and that they're going to get a really awesome gift card. It's a really nice way to thank someone. So here we have some more of that nitpicky paper. I created a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4.25, added a bunch of foam squares to the back of my double slider mechanism, and we're going to layer that right onto the card. And then there you can see how cute this is. You got the awesome surprise of the gift card and then the cute little sentiment. They can just peel that gift card right up and then they can still play with their card and do the double slider mechanism as well. So I think it's a really nice and special way to present a gift card. And then coming up, we have a look at all of the different ways that we use the double slider surprise. So here you can see in the middle, we did a seam extension with 2 notches in a kind of a landscape design. On the left there, we did a stopper that's got the portrait design and also showcases a sentiment, which is really, really cool. And then here we've got the element of surprise with the gift card coming out of the top, which is just so fun and such a cool way to present a gift. So here we have some amazing cards by the design team, and this card by Lynette is just way too cute. I love this one by Lizzie. I love that she put those cute little coffee cups on there, and it's a really great way to present your gift card. This one is So Happy by Audrey. I just love the birthday theme and how she coordinated it to match with the gift card she got. This is such a cool way to present photos in a little traveler's notebook because you can actually add cute little photos onto these as well. I love this Halloween card by Elena because now you can see all the extra trick-or-treaters that are there in the scene. We have this awesome card by Elise. I love that you can make so many different styles of cards with this, and this one's so cute for a birthday. Here's the card by Audrey that inspired us to make our card today. In this case, she had a double sentiment on there, which is such a cool thing to do. We love this card by Megan. Oh my goodness, how cute is this with the little yetis popping out? It's just adorable. I love how Nicole used one of my favorite older sets, Rooting for You, and created this really adorable little extended garden. This card by Yanea is so sweet. I love how when you pull the tabs, that little penguin is throwing the snowball at them. It's so fun. And here I love how Shari used this as a way to present a double sentiment. I think it would be really fun to write a little message on one of those panels too. So I cannot wait to see what you guys do with Double Slider Surprise, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!